State Senator Barrow Peacock is here. Hey, Mr. Barrow, thanks for taking time. Welcome back to KEEL.
Good morning. I'm doing some jogging this morning, yesterday, trying to blow off some steam, and then Erin gets my blood pressure all going because she's complaining about state retirements. No, that was you yesterday, Robert. And this morning she's complaining about the grass and having to make sure the state isn't thrown under the bus there. So
the state sends the city money to mow the grass. Somebody needs to check up on that money.
And carbon David North on that email. He's with the DOTD, and so he'll see that too.
Oh, I will, definitely. Okay.
Okay, so yesterday, the State Senate of Louisiana, bring us up to date. We'll get to your two no votes in a couple of seconds. First of all, bring us up to date on the changes the Senate has proposed, i.e. beefed up, made more, increased the House tax bill that is now on your side. What's going on there? What are they going to do?
They basically added another $300+ million taxing businesses. And, we need private sector jobs. And unfortunately, this committee went after businesses. They increased it by over $300 million. And we need private sector jobs that aren't funded by the state to be the engine for our economy, and we're not going in that direction with the bill the way it is right now.
What is the status of that tax increase? Where is it? Is it going to the floor? I assume. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It will be on the. It will be reported to the floor, and we most likely, unless we suspend the rules, will vote on that bill tomorrow on the floor.
It'll
take a 2/3 vote.
Yeah.
And because it was amended, if it gets the 2/3 vote on the floor, then it will go back over to the House of Representatives, where I know that they will say no to it the way it is right now.
Yeah, they've said it was what they sent you was a take it or leave it.
Well, I believe that's something they said. Now, everybody has a say in it, but the way it is now, I know the House will say no to it. And, that was a solution. I believe it was crafted well to where there would be some more sales tax, and everybody pays a sales tax. But there would be cuts, too. And when you see, unfortunately, that the state's GDP has dropped last year and the year before, state government has to tighten its belt, too, unfortunately. And we're not going to get out of this problem until we have a growing economy in our state.
A lobby president, Stephen Wagasback, in a late-night statement said, employers and workers have always been more than willing to do their part to support state priorities, but they also need a partner in the Capitol to help. And he's not happy with what passed in the Senate. He says the burden on businesses is way too harsh, and it will run businesses out of our state. Agree?
I agree. And there was a bill that came through that basically taxes Louisiana businesses that do business in Texas, and we double tax some of their income. We've got businesses in our community that Governor Greg Abbott calls and says, move to Texas. We have to get our act and our policies correct to where the governor of Texas knows don't call Louisiana businesses because they're protected and they're doing well in Louisiana. We need to turn the tide and start calling businesses from other states as they move to Louisiana.
Mr. Barrow, you had a no vote yesterday. Was it SB 10? That's the $21 million, I think is the number, on the earned income tax credit, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm oversimplifying. What the earned income tax credit is basically it's a guaranteed tax refund to people who don't make enough money to get a tax refund. Is that what it is?
That's basically it. Is to encourage people to stay employed and work versus quitting so they get more government benefits. It is a good policy, but it needs to be done at the federal level where we have to balance our budget in the state of Louisiana. With that bill yesterday, unfortunately passing, we just went in the hole $21 million.
That's what I was just going to say, that the screaming and the yelling from the governor, and from everybody, we don't have the money, we've got to come up with the money, and yet this is a $21 million giveaway, right?
That's right. Yesterday you had Dr. Henderson on, and he was talking about a $26 million cut to higher ed. We're just going to add another $21 million on top of that.
So local senators, their votes on that, you voted no.
Gaddy was five of us who voted no.
Gaddy, yeah, it was like, what, 30-5 or 35-5? Gaddy was a yes. Tarver was a yes.
Milkovich a yes.
Milkovich was a no on that, as a matter
was
of
it?
fact.
Milkovich
Okay.
was a no.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Let me ask you this, because this has been the key. I know Senator Karen Carter Peterson, many others have said, for those of you who do not support this, identify some cuts you would make in the budget. Let's go there, Barrow. Where can you cut? Have you been able to? Can you give us some specifics?
Where we continue to see the growth of our state government is the Department of Health. Just like everybody, it is growing out of control. And until we get control of it, until our executive branch, our governor, our Dr. Rebecca Gee reins in the cost of health care, we're going to have problems. And as you continue to play the quote from Senator Carver, the moment we have cuts, they say we're pulling out the plugs, we're doing this, it's horrible. But that is where we see growth uncontrollable is the Department of Health.
Does that not fall back on the federal government and the medical industry more than it does the state? I mean, the state doesn't control that.
Well, no, the state has a position in there where they can bargain and they can do stuff to try to rein in costs, and we can do stuff in the
Excuse me,
Department
Barrow,
of Health.
pardon me just a second. We saw last week that 17 cents out of every dollar spent by the state of Louisiana is on it's Medicaid money. Did the governor did he do a bad deal in, I don't know if negotiating is the right word, but when he demanded, when he mandated the expansion of Medicaid, did he cut a bad deal for Louisiana?
He didn't negotiate it at all. Arkansas negotiated their Medicaid expansion. We didn't. We simply accepted it. And unfortunately, what it has done, it's taken individuals in Louisiana who had private medical insurance are now on the Medicaid rolls. And that's not good for our state.
Can you turn the clock back on that?
We need a new governor.
Any other cuts you would identify here? I mean, you're not going to put nursing home patients on the street.
No, we're not.
Do you anticipate that there will be more threats from the governor, Jay Darden, et cetera, of that kind?
Oh, absolutely. And I've got constituents calling me, asking me to please vote for these taxes because we're going to be hurt if we don't.
Barrow, what happens if there's no agreement between now and Monday? Y'all got to wrap this up by Monday. What happens?
The bill will come to the Senate floor. Hopefully it will get corrected on the Senate floor, and then it will pass something that's more reasonable, that doesn't attack businesses, and we'll send something back to the House, and hopefully the House and the Senate can agree, as we usually do come to an agreement in the end, and then we'll send it to the governor, and hopefully the governor will not veto the budget this time, and we can finish up on June 4th, and we'll go forward, and let's work to get our state growing and stop putting so much of the weight on our private sector business.